What's up guys, it's me Harry, and I hope you're doing well. Obviously, just looking at my channel recently, I haven't been very active, and if I'm honest, it's because I'm still trying to figure out plans and ideas and cool shit I want to do on YouTube again. But I saw this as a fairly appropriate point for me to just make a video and have a good time, so here we are. So, something that you might not know about me, unless you know me personally or literally just scroll through my Twitter, is I'm actually quite a big Doctor Who fan. I've been one since the first episode that aired in 2005, Rose, and it's been thrilling and wild to watch the show as it's come out each year, with the occasional exception or missed episodes that I'm sad I didn't get to experience live, but my god, has it been a journey. So Eccleston's first series was a brilliant resurgence, and then obviously Tennant grabbed everyone's attention immediately and quickly became a fan favourite. And then Smith took over from one of, if not the most popular Doctors ever, being Tennant, and then my personal favourite Doctor, Capaldi, took over, and obviously now we have Jodie Whittaker, who is the 13th and current Doctor. So one thing I want to make clear here is Jodie Whittaker is a beautiful person, and I don't just mean on the outside, even though that's obviously true. She is so genuinely sweet and wholesome and the perfect ambassador for everything the show represents, and genuinely of any other contenders for the first female Doctor, I think she genuinely is the best choice that we could have had for an ambassador and someone who genuinely just loves the show so much. So this era has definitely been divisive, to say the least, even ignoring the blatant sexism Jodie has faced, although I do find a lot more appreciation for Jodie now, which is very nice to see. The main critiques I find hold some weight are some of this era's writing, as the current showrunner Chris Chibnall has taken a markedly different approach compared to his predecessor, Stephen Moffat. So, whilst I was initially quite a bit critical of his writing, I personally find that it's more creative whiplash I think I experienced, and I've since come to appreciate both of Jodie's series much more upon rewatches. Although that's not to say they are without their issues, obviously. Each era has definitely had their own issues. And I'm now going to be talking about each series, so spoiler warning by the way, as I will be summarising them, but I'll try to be keeping them as vague as possible, even on the big plot points where I can, just so you guys can experience them for yourselves if you do decide to watch them if you haven't already. So yeah. So the first series, Series 11, doesn't have any returning monsters or any huge overall arc, which obviously is very different from every prior series in the Revival era, because they've at least had something, whether it's the Daleks or the Cybermen or the Master returning, where this series obviously hasn't had that until the first New Year's special, where the Daleks returned. So with this first series, it was a much more grounded approach, with the Doctor and 3 new companions being Ryan, Yaz and Graham. So, Ryan is Graham's grandson through Graham's marriage to Ryan's nan. And Yaz is an old school friend of Ryan's and an aspiring policewoman. I realise I probably worded that very confusing because I said Ryan and Graham about 3 times in one sentence, but hopefully you get the gist of what I mean there. So, as I said, this series is much less of that sort of fairy tale feel that Moffat had become quite known for, and in fact had a lot more sort of grounded historical feel to it, given it has 3 notable historical episodes, well, just 3 historical episodes, being Rosa, Demons of the Punjab, and The Witchfinders, which are based in 3 different time periods entirely, and I think are among a lot of people's favourites and standouts for this series, with my personal favourite being Demons of the Punjab, even if some of the supporting cast were a little unnatural with some of their line delivery at times. The finale was pretty good, if a little bit underwhelming, and I feel like that's a big part of why people don't appreciate this series quite as much as it probably deserves to be. It's far from a perfect series, or even one of my favourites, but it is a little bit underwhelming relative to the previous entries, as it obviously didn't have the excitement of any returning villains. And that's not to say that's the only issue Series 11 had, but I feel like the underwhelming nature of it relative to the other series is probably the most noteworthy reason people kind of gloss over this series. So, following the end of Series 11, we got our first New Year's Day special, with the Daleks returning in Resolution. An episode that got a lot of love, and whilst I personally have my own issues with some aspects of the story, I think it does well to cap off an arc that Ryan and Graham had across the series, of Ryan accepting Graham as his granddad, as well as paving the way for Ryan's dad to begin making things up to Ryan. So, yeah, I think it was just a good New Year's special, although I do obviously, personally, I prefer a Doctor Who special to be on Christmas Day, as a lot of people do. But equally, I do think it's a nice change to have New Year's Day, especially as there's a good chance that we'll probably be getting Christmas specials back in the future at some point. So Series 12, Jodie's second series, I find fixes a whole lot of the major problems that Series 11 had. It begins with a huge, bombastic homage to spy films, most notably taking inspiration from James Bond, and has big names like Stephen Fry and Sir Lenny Henry making appearances, whilst also reintroducing fan-favourite characters with some shocking information and hints of the infamous Timeless Child arc. Now, I will be getting into the Timeless Child arc a little bit later, but not too specifically, but yeah, let's just say it was a little bit controversial. So this two-parter also ends on a brilliant cliffhanger that has high stakes for our characters without having to resort to the world being at stake, which I think is something that's often not balanced as well as it should be. And while there's definitely things that I take quite a big issue with in this story, I also think that it's largely done well, and while some of those things can't really be ignored, yeah, I think it was definitely a good start to the series overall. But yeah, there's definitely some things that didn't need to be there. But I'll get into those if I have to do an episode by episode review, which I think is probably going to happen at some point. So this series also introduces some brilliant twists and turns and some standout episodes that I genuinely love. Like, my two favourites of this series are Fugitive of the Judoon, which all I'll say is I love Jo Martin and I hope we see more of her. That is all I'm going to say. And also The Haunting of Villa Diodati, which is an episode that a lot of people seem to really enjoy as well. And it's an episode penned by Maxine Alderton, who also happens to be the only other writing credit on Series 13 other than Chris Chibnall. So I guess that's a good sign that he has a lot of faith in her. And she's only written one episode of Doctor Who before as well, being this episode. So let's hope her track record continues, but we'll see. We'll have to see. So the series has a lot of plot threads to juggle and a lot of interesting things going on with some great episodes. And there's also one hilariously bad episode, which I think is among the Love and Monsters kind of level, but even that episode has some interesting points in it. But I definitely would say it's a skip-worthy episode if you're doing a rewatch, but yeah. So it ties up all these plot points in the finale in a big bombastic story to match the bombastic opening that includes returning enemies and a brilliant transition from the cold open to the title sequence, which is it's beautiful. I can't really show it here because it's a spoiler, but let me just say it's beautiful. I love it. And it also tells us who the Timeless Child is and what makes them so noteworthy. So, as I alluded to earlier, this arc is a bit controversial among fans, but I personally have gone from thinking it was disappointing to not really minding it as long as they explore it in an interesting way in the future. I can't really go into detail without delving into spoiler territory, which is something that I feel like I probably will at some point in the future, maybe in its own dedicated video, but here I'm going to leave it as vague as I can. And yeah, it's just, some people take a lot of issue with it. So yeah. So this series is also met with a New Year's Day Dalek special called Revolution of the Daleks, which I personally enjoy a lot more with its exploration of the Daleks, and I find it gives a much more satisfying conclusion, also tying up a loose end from a series finale, albeit in a bit of a questionable way, but I mean, it's Doctor Who. There's always questionable things if you really look into it that much, so you just gotta take it with a grain of salt. This also teased Dan, a new companion joining in Series 13, and gave us exits from Ryan and Graham, meaning Series 13 will be the Doctor, Yaz, and Dan. And let's just say, whilst we didn't know, and still don't really know, a huge amount about Dan, the most important thing, and something that the BBC doesn't want any of us to know yet, is Dan is a
plasterer from Liverpool.
So now that brings us to today. It will have been 11 months since we've had an episode of Doctor Who when the first episode of this new series airs, and for a while we haven't known a ton beyond set leaks and tiny teasers. So in July we got some new information about the series for the first time, which was a teaser trailer showing some shots of the series but not actually really giving us a ton of information. So officially we didn't really know any returning monsters, or any new monsters, or anything really beyond a new character called Vinda, played by Jacob Anson, who you may also know as Bradley Ritchie, who is an actor and musician, who also starred in Game of Thrones as Grey Worm, as well as Broadchurch, which is Chibnall's other big writing credit. Since then, though, we've slowly and surely found out more information. So we got confirmation that Jodie's leaving after the series, as well as Chris Chibnall, which is a first for the new era at least, for a showrunner to leave after one series, and also that the series was going to be a 6-episode serial story with 3 specials next year, airing on New Year's Day, Easter Day, and sometime around the BBC's centenary, as it's a centenary special. And the last episode is also going to be a feature-length special, which is going to be cool. There was also an ARG called #FindTheDoctor, where clues were hidden across the UK and internet for hints of Series 13, as well as some cool Easter eggs. Not only this, but we also found out the new showrunner would be Russell T Davies, of all bloody people, who's going to return to Doctor Who after a stellar revival of the show in 2005, and will be penning a 60th anniversary special in 2023, as well as series beyond. So however many series he's going to be around for, I don't know, but I'm particularly excited to see what his new era is going to be like, and I'm intrigued who'll cast as the next Doctor, although I obviously have my own personal hopes. We have since got various teaser images, and then a clip of Jodie Whittaker appearing in between ads on BBC One, confirming the Centaurans, Weeping Angels, and something called the Ravagers, or Ravages. There's a lot of online debate about that. I think it's Ravagers, turning up and teasing something called the Flux as well, and saying that it's coming, with the Doctor Who's social media pages all blacking out for a day before they updated their profile pictures, showed off the new beautiful posters, and revealing the start date as being Halloween. And then a hologram of a Sontaran ship was apparently projected in Liverpool, although a lot of people seem to not see it, so God knows if that actually did happen or was just a Photoshop. But honestly, either way, it's kind of cool, I guess. As well as an ad asking about alien sightings, giving a number for you to call, which will lead to the Doctor's voicemail, saying,
"You've reached the voicemail of
The Doctor. If you're ringing this, it means enemies from across the universe have arrived on Earth, and the battle is coming imminently. Who did you see and where? I need as much information as possible. Protect yourself. It's coming. Be ready."
Then finally, just now we have got a proper trailer, albeit a short one at a minute, for the new series, which is full of some genuinely beautiful cinematography and looks genuinely impressive at large scale, which is something I find Doctor Who doesn't always manage to achieve. It can be impressive considering everything, but even ignoring how low the budget usually is for Doctor Who, I think some of these shots genuinely just look really pretty, and I'm genuinely really impressed. Now, I don't think I'm alone here if I say that I think this is genuinely one of the best trailers we've got probably ever in Doctor Who. Like, I'm not sure I would say it's the best trailer, but considering it's only a minute, it manages to pack in a lot of stuff, and also even tease the Cybermen as well. That's something I forgot to mention. And a new thing called Carvanista, which people are theorising could be someone else as well. I'm trying to avoid spoilers too much, but there's some theorising that I've seen going around, and yeah, he kind of looks like Chewbacca. And I've heard a couple people dub him as Whobacca, so I love that, honestly. But yeah, considering it is only a minute long, it packs in a lot of great stuff. Now, I'm personally very excited about this new series, and will be looking forward to this series a lot when it comes out. I have high hopes, considering historically, at least in New Who, the final series from a showrunner has been either their best, or at least arguably their best. So that's a good track record so far. I mean, obviously we've only had 2 showrunners, one beyond Chibnall, and Chibnall hasn't finished yet, so we don't know how long that's going to sustain itself. But this is giving me high hopes, and considering Series 12 was already a big step up from Series 11, personally, at least for me, and Series 13 is also playing to Chibnall's strengths, with it being serialised, I have a lot of hope for this series, and honestly, I just want new Doctor Who content, okay? I just want Doctor Who content. I'm also very intrigued to see what Dan is like, because we haven't actually met him yet. We've literally only seen 20-30 second teaser at the end of Revolution of the Daleks, where he had one line, I think. So we really have no idea what he's like. We've got more from him in these teasers and trailers, which have only just really happened in the past month and a bit, or past few months even, that genuinely we know so little about him, and I'm intrigued to know what he's like, and whether he can actually be one of my favourite companions, whether he's just going to be an alright one, I don't know, I'm intrigued.
And I'm also intrigued what Vinder is going to be like as well, because I really like Jacob Anderson, both as a musician and an actor. So I'm looking forward to see what he does here. And I'm hoping I'm hoping things are all good there. And obviously I'm excited to see what the Flux is, who the Ravagers are, how it all ties together, because I'm just so excited. And honestly, I'm going to try and give my best to give my thoughts and feelings of each episode as they air each week. But I can't necessarily promise that given my track record of my upload schedule in the past few years. But I'll do my best because boy am I fucking excited. Anyway, that's about it for what I wanted to say in this video. I'm very excited for Flux, for this new story and the specials that follow, as well as the reveal of the new Doctor and seeing what RTD does with them and the show as a whole, as well as how Bad Wolf, the production company joining RTD in 2023, to co-produce the show, ran by Julie Garner and Jane Tranter, who are also very present in 2005. How that was all going to play into this as well, whether that's going to actually give Doctor Who a higher budget for once, or whether that's just going to be more budget for spin-offs potentially. There's a lot of theories that people have. Honestly, we will have no idea until things actually happen, and I don't think there's a huge amount of point speculating in them right now. But yeah, honestly, I'm very excited, and I hope you're all as excited as I am, and I look forward very much to seeing this series and seeing your thoughts all down below as well. I'm hoping to upload more as well, but as I said, I can't make any promises on that one because I'm at uni and I probably shouldn't procrastinate any more than I already am. But yeah, also, if you haven't already found out through my Twitter, I am now streaming on Twitch. I play a variety of games and have a great time in chat with some beautiful people I met almost entirely through streaming. So if you want to join, feel free to. It's always a fun time with shit jokes and various different types of games and vibes and whatever. But yeah, I really hope to see some more of you there. If obviously you want to join, you don't have to, don't feel pressured to. But yeah, if Twitch is your thing and you want to check it out, go check it out. But yeah, honestly, it's nice being back. And I hope to see you all over there, and who knows, maybe I'll actually try live stream on YouTube at some point as well. I don't know when that would be or what that would be really, but I guess maybe one day. I guess just have a look out, have a look. But yeah, either way, I'll see you all soon, and have a great day, a great night, a great life. And yeah, see ya.